God gave me a dream that I didn't know was prophetic until later on when He revealed more and more layers of the meaning to me. So I'll just begin by telling you what happened. In the dream, I was sitting in a classroom. Now, this should have sparked my mind in some way because a friend had recently told me that God had given him the words lesson plan for me in a situation I was going through, but it didn't connect in my mind until later the next day. In the classroom, there was a really good-looking guy sitting next to me. I felt like I was my age now, but that I was maybe in a college course classroom, and that there was a guy close to my age or younger who was very good-looking and giving me a lot of attention and flirting with me. Well, that's not the season I'm in my life right now to be dating, because God has let me know to not be dating because He has plans for me. So I knew that this guy was not someone I need to be flirting with, but I was flattered by the attention. So all of a sudden he hands me something, and it turns out it was actually something of my own. I just didn't know it was my own. I thought it was a note, but instead it was a check. It was a paycheck for work I had done that I didn't even know I had coming to me. So when I opened the check up and looked at it, it said, in the line could tell like what the money was for. It said for being an ice cream cone truck driver, and I wondered why they said an ice cream cone driver or instead of just truck without the word cone in there, but I thought that was kind of funny, and I kind of chuckled and I was like, oh yeah, okay, like I kind of remembered maybe that was coming to me. So the next thing that happened is that this guy, once he knew what the check was for, what the paper was, that it was in fact a check, he tried to rip it in two and throw it to the ground. That was the end of the dream, and I didn't understand that there was meaning to it, but God opened my eyes to that very clearly. So it turns out that the guy represented distractions and temptations to look away from what, in my case, God is calling me to do, but this can apply for you as well. If God's called you to do something in this season, don't get distracted. Don't let temptations pull you away from what God has told you to do or what He's told you to believe. The next thing that the Lord showed me is that the ice cream represented sweetness and joy and rewards, good things. And He was reminding me that if we will do what He's called us to do, as I have been doing, that He will reward us for our righteousness and our faithfulness, like it says in 1 Samuel 26:23. He also said that, reminded me of Psalm 19:8, which says, the precepts of the Lord are right, giving joy to the heart. The commands of the Lord are radiant, giving light to the eyes. So if we'll hold on and do what God has called us to do and keep looking ahead and not get distracted and tempted to vary from what the Lord has told us to do or told us to believe, then it's going to be a blessing and bring us joy. It's also going to bless everyone around us and maybe even future generations to come in ways that we don't know. In Genesis 22:18 it says, and through your offspring all nations on earth will be blessed because you have obeyed me. Now that might not have been to us specifically in that situation, but that does apply to us as well, because anytime we are obedient, it doesn't just bless our life, it blesses all the lives of those that touch our life as well, and maybe future generations to come. So then the Lord reminded me of the verse in Psalm 34:8 that says, taste and see that the Lord is good. And just remember that if you do what God tells you to do, then you're going to receive what He's told you you'll receive. And obedience always brings blessings and joy. The next thing that the Lord showed me was that He reminded me of a phrase in something that I had written myself that I didn't even know I had written, which it was words from the Lord, and I don't really feel like they were my words anyway, and so that's probably why it didn't come to mind. But He took me to this writing, and I will link it below in the comments or in the description of this video. It's on my page, Supernatural Wavelength, on Facebook. But part of this said, I will deliver every promise I've given you, but it will be in my perfect time and in the best possible way for you. You wouldn't give a child a gift without batteries, or a bike without also giving them a helmet, or an in-ground pool without first giving them swimming lessons. Trust that what you see as a delay is not me withholding blessings, but rather me making sure that all the conditions are in place to ensure that what I give you will function correctly and will in fact bless you, not harm you. I am the giver of good gifts. And here's the part He really highlighted to me and then confirmed over and again. You will not regret the wait once the gift arrives. Well, that really struck to my heart for many reasons. And after He took me to that and highlighted that phrase to me, He actually brought it to my mind other ways and in front of my eyes several ways. I read an article about 4th of July quadruplets. And in this situation, the person at first when they were expecting the baby didn't expect but one baby, but eventually they found out they were having 4. And the article said 4 beautiful miracles who were well worth the long wait. So again, God was saying, your wait will be worth it. And finally, one thing, there were a few others, but the only that I could show you that I've saved here on my phone that I could put on the video was one more that says, never rush what God is preparing for you. It's going to be worth the wait. And that was a Facebook post by God TV, as you can see on the screen there. So the Lord is just reminding us that there are rewards. We don't obey for rewards. We obey because we love God and we want to honor Him and we believe Him. But there are rewards for your obedience. And He is telling us that your wait will be worth it. And I think that is exciting. So please hold on. I will link the article I mentioned in the description below. And if you have any words to send me that are relevant to this, please link them below.